Have you ever stopped and wondered, how do we understand the universe? What's it really made of, and how many dimensions does it have? We've all heard about the 3 dimensions of space. But what if I told you there are more? What if the universe was secretly hiding dimensions we can't even see? Today, we're going on a journey to explore the dimensions of space and time, and even a few extra ones that might just hold the key to understanding how everything works. Buckle up, this is going to be a mind-bending ride. Let's start with something simple, but essential. Imagine a line, a straight line. It doesn't matter if it's short or long, it's just a line. This line represents the first dimension. It's basically just length. There's no width, no height. You can't go up or down, just forward or backward. Think of it like the number line you see in math class. You can have positive numbers and negative numbers, but everything is stuck to that line. Imagine trying to navigate this world. You'd have no freedom. It's just one straight path, no turning or going anywhere else. This is the simplest way to describe dimension number 1. Pretty straightforward, right? But stay with me because as we move on, it gets more complicated. Ready for the second dimension? Now let's step it up a bit. We're going from a single line to a whole flat plane. Welcome to the second dimension. In the second dimension, we now have length and width. Imagine you're living on a flat sheet of paper. You can move forward or backward like on the one-dimensional line, but you can also move left and right. That's width. You now have 2 directions you can move in. Think about old-school 2-dimensional video games. Remember Pac-Man? He can only move along a flat grid, left, right, up, or down. But that's it. No jumping off the grid, no going above or below it. It's flat, like a piece of paper, a whole new world. Now, if you tried to introduce a third direction, like jumping above the paper, it would be impossible. In a 2-dimensional world, there's no concept of up or down. That's just the nature of 2 dimensions. You're stuck on that flat plane. Let's keep moving and see how things change in the third dimension. Alright, now things get exciting. We're stepping into the third dimension, a world that's familiar to us all. Length, width, and now, height. This is where things start to feel real, because it's the space we live in. You can go forward, backward, left, right, up and down. You have full freedom to move in all directions. Imagine a cube. It has length, width, and height. It's not just flat, it has depth. Everything around you, your house, your car, the trees, the sky, these all exist in 3-dimensional space. You can move in any direction. This is why we experience the world in depth. You can walk around a tree or a building and you'll see it from different angles, right? That's the power of 3-dimensional space. It's the reality we navigate every day. And guess what? Our entire universe works in 3 dimensions too. From the tiniest particles to the vast galaxies, everything exists within 3 dimensions of space and 1 of time. But what if that's not all? What if there's more? Let's take a step back. We've got our 3-dimensional world, but there's something else, time. This is the 4th dimension. In the same way that we move through space, we move through time. But there's a big difference. Time is a one-way street. We can't go back to yesterday or jump ahead to tomorrow. We're locked into the flow of time, moving forward from one moment to the next. Now, time isn't just a ticking clock, it's actually part of a larger idea called space-time, which combines space and time into one framework. Time can actually stretch and squeeze depending on speed and gravity. This is known as time dilation. For example, if you were to travel at nearly the speed of light, time would move slower for you than for someone standing still on Earth. Time bends and warps under certain conditions, and that's what makes time so unique compared to space. Even in extreme places like black holes, time behaves weirdly. The closer you get to one, the slower time moves. It's not something we can directly perceive, but time is flexible and interacts with space in surprising ways. Now here's where things get really wild. What if there were more dimensions? What if the universe wasn't just four-dimensional, but had extra dimensions beyond what we can see? This is where string theory comes in. String theory suggests that there are extra dimensions beyond the three-dimensional space and time we're familiar with. In fact, there could be as many as 10 or 11 dimensions, but they're all curled up so small that we can't see them. Imagine trying to look at a rolled-up newspaper. You'd see just the outer surface, not what's curled inside. Let's start with the fifth dimension. Imagine it as a place where alternate versions of reality exist. In this dimension, there could be an infinite number of parallel universes, each with its own version of reality. But here's the catch. The laws of physics in each parallel universe might be slightly different from ours. For example, in one parallel universe, gravity could be much stronger than what we experience, making everything heavier and harder to move. In another, gravity could be weaker, meaning everything might float around. These changes could create entirely different types of life, different structures, or even entirely different laws of nature. So the fifth dimension is a place where alternate realities are stacked right next to ours, almost like different pages in a book. And maybe, just maybe, the right conditions could allow one universe to bleed into another. Now let's go a step further. Welcome to the sixth dimension. Here, things get even more intriguing. In this dimension, you're not just dealing with alternate versions of reality. Instead, you can start to look at all the possible outcomes of our universe, each one depending on different choices, events, or circumstances. Think of it like a tree of possibilities. Every time something happens, like a decision being made, an action taking place, the sixth dimension represents every possible outcome. It's as if the world branches out like a tree with countless possibilities, and each branch leads to a different path. Now let's jump to the seventh dimension. Here, we're not just talking about alternate realities or possible outcomes. This dimension holds the key to fundamentally different laws of physics. In the seventh dimension, the rules that govern how everything works could be completely different from our own. Imagine a place where the laws of gravity, light, or electromagnetism work in ways that are completely foreign to us. In these alternate realities, life could have evolved in ways we can't even imagine because the very foundation of physics is different. Next, we step into the eighth dimension, a place so mind-boggling that it's almost impossible to fully comprehend. The eighth dimension is the realm of infinite possibilities and infinite worlds, but not just the possible worlds we talked about before. It's the space where all possible physical laws exist. Finally, we reach the 9th and 10th dimensions, the ultimate realms of string theory. These are dimensions where the forces of nature we know, gravity, electromagnetism, the strong and weak nuclear forces, are all unified into one single force. So, there you have it. Extra dimensions, each more mind-bending than the last. From parallel universes to new laws of physics to the unification of forces, string theory's extra dimensions challenge everything we think we know about reality. We may not be able to see these dimensions with our eyes, but through theoretical physics, we've come to realize that they could hold the answers to some of the most profound mysteries of the universe. The universe is far more complex and beautiful than we could have ever imagined, and who knows, maybe one day we'll unlock the secret to these hidden dimensions. But for now, all we can do is keep exploring. Know more. Be more.